What's up guys, I'm Jim and I'm back again today to talk about one of the upcoming new launches in Singapore. Yes, I know I did one recently on the 3 hottest highly anticipated new launches. You can check it out if you want to. That was one of my most highly viewed videos in recent times. It clearly shows that the general appetite for new launches in Singapore is quite high. And I also realized that today there are many other new launches that people are interested in. In fact, today I'm going to share with you one of them. I'll tell you what it is, why you should take note. I'll share with you some information tidbits and also how you can learn more. So without further ado, keep watching. I'll be sharing my screen for this, and the property that we'll be talking about today is Union Square Residences. For those familiar, the picture that I have in the diagram here is actually the picture of Canninghill Piers, one of the hottest launches in the year 2021 second half. Why does Union Square important to me? If you have followed me for a while, you may have noticed, or you perhaps seen a video of me before shooting a video on Canninghill Piers. That was in fact one of the first projects where I started my journey as a project IC in my company. Therefore, there is some special sentimental value to me, and Union Square right now is in fact just across the road from Canninghill Piers. So I think I want to share more about it here today. Developer needs no further introduction. CDL, one of the most trusted and reputable names in Singapore, with properties like Copen Grand, Irwell Hill Residences, high-end properties, Boulevard 88, St. Regis Residences. Where is Union Square? Like I shared, it is in close proximity to Canninghill Piers and walking distance to, I would say, 3 MRT stations: Fort Canning, Clarke Quay, and Chinatown MRT. If we talk about the transportation from the MRT station, you can see that it's really very convenient. 5 stops to Bugis, 4 stops to Promenade, 2 stops to downtown, and by the purple line, 1 stop to Outram or Dhoby Ghaut, 2 stops to Harbourfront, and couple of stops to Tanjong Pagar and Orchard as well. So it's really pretty much very centrally located without directly being right smack in the CBD or in the Orchard areas. A little bit more details have been released by the developer. We don't have full information as of yet right now, but we know that Union Square Residences will consist of one block of 34-story and 40-story high towers, and it's a mixed development with commercial units on the first and second stories. There will also be a block of co-living and a commercial office tower. Similarly, those blocks would also have commercial shops in the first and second stories. This is a slide that shows you the views that you can get here at Union Square Residences. Towards the north side, you can see Fort Canning Park. Of course, the view towards the north may soon be blocked by Canninghill Piers partially, but towards the east, you can see Clarke Quay, CBD, and even Marina Bay Sands. West facing, because near the Singapore River, there are many low-rise condominiums. You get pretty much a good unblocked view as well towards Robertson Quay, and towards the south, you face Chinatown. What I want to highlight here at Union Square Residences is, in fact, the changes to the master plan. So on the right is the master plan previously, and on the left is the current master plan. Now we often drive along Merchant Road this way, coming in, right? Currently, this is the site of the sales gallery. But I want to point you towards the future here, where you see that, in fact, this road is going to be turned into a green pedestrian walkway. It's going to be sealed off. So in futures, this means in future, cars are not going to be able to turn this way. In fact, Merchant Road is going to be a one-way road where they have to U-turn and turn back out. I think this is pretty significant for USR, short for Union Square Residences, because with this new pathway, right, if you live there, it's very easy for you to cross the road and reach Canninghill Piers, which is over here in the blue side, right? From here, you can just walk this way and reach Canninghill Piers. And we probably already know that Canninghill Piers is directly connected, integrated with the Fort Canning MRT station. So that's definitely very convenient to get to where all your amenities are. And the other side of the road, Clarke Quay, of course. Now that you have some idea on what is Union Square Residences, I want to share with you some broader market insights and why you should take notice. What's trending in the market? I think this is important because when we buy, especially if we're looking at investment, we want to follow the trend, right? Stock investors out there, you should know that better than me. First of all, everybody knows CDL. What have they been up to recently, right? We see they exit the market, they are selling certain kind of properties, namely a portfolio of strata shops at the venue and divestment of their strata units at Fortune Centre and Sunshine Plaza. However, we'll see in my next slide that CDL isn't just selling, they are also buying. What have they been buying? Delphi Orchard, they also bought Central Square. This is of course about 2 to 3 years ago. And today, this is the new Union Square residences. They have also led a joint bid for the Jurong Lake District Master Developer site. You see, what CDL is doing here is that they are exiting assets that are probably at its tail end of its growth potential and re-entering the market at newer sites that have probably higher growth potential in the future. This is what I call recycling capital, right? And reinvesting with relevance. So a little bit more about this location. What's happening around this area? If we zoom out and take a look at the master plan, right? Where are we at? You can see that CCR, RCR, OCR. Furthermore, there is this red line which is known as the URA central area. And we are located at the orange pin over there. How has this changed over the last couple of years? I think recently we have seen more and more emphasis from the government that they are looking to build more homes in the central area. You can see it clearly here in one of these URA press releases that new homes are being planned in Singapore central region with about 6,000 new homes to be progressively developed over the next 10 years in Pearl's Hill, including new HDB flats. This marks the first time in 40 years that new public housing is being introduced in this area. So in future, are we going to see a mix of public and private housing in this central area of Singapore? We have also seen that the government has also announced URA rejuvenation incentives, right? This is important because we see a lot of older buildings, especially in CBD area, being rejuvenated. On the left, the pictures, that's Fuji Xerox into Newport Residences. And on the right, we see AXA Tower transforming into Sky Waters Residences. These are some examples. And also what we see here, Liang Court to Canninghill Piers, and now Central Square and Central Mall combining to become Union Square Residences. More importantly, I want to focus into the Singapore River planning zone because the central area is a large zone and within it there are further subzones. One of it is this, the Singapore River Planning Zone. Uniquely around this zone, most of them are actually very low-rise condominiums over this side. And then we have Canninghill Piers over here. And now Union Square is situated around here. Being by the river, as I mentioned earlier, is a selling point in itself. And I think we seek a lot of global inspiration, right? We can see that many areas that are close by the river are in fact some of the most in-demand properties there. For example, these two places, not sure if you recognize them. On the left is Canary Wharf at London, and on the right is Docklands at Melbourne. These are some of the areas which fetch the highest property prices in their respective cities. It's a kind of lifestyle that is not afforded by just any other property in the area. The second inspiration is, I think, comes from the origin of the name. So developer has not shared with us, but I personally think that Union Square symbolizes something that is very vibrant and active, just like these famous examples of Union Squares in the world. Not sure if you recognize them. So on the left, that is the Union Square in New York, Manhattan. And on the right is the Union Square in San Francisco. So these are very vibrant, very active commercial hubs, full of vibrancy, full of activity that are both frequented by locals and tourists alike. Together with the waterfront living, right, and being situated closely to the CBD and Orchard belts, this is truly, I would say, a live, work, and play space for the future of Singapore. Next, I want to touch a bit on the higher end of the market. In case you're wondering, the 60% foreigner ABSD came in the first half of last year. How has the market been since then? Is the market really slower in the high-end segment? Let me show you some data. You can see recently, Skywater Residences sold for a record price for a 99-year leasehold property at 6,100 PSF. At the same time, what are other properties nearby Union Square transacting? Let's look at this table over here. You can see some of the highest in the market. Besides for 6,000, we have right next door, Canninghill Piers at about 5,360 PSF, average about 3,002. Even completed properties like Riviere, Martin Modern, One Pearl Bank, Marina One, they are all also trending at highest PSF of over 3,000. And Riviere, the most recent completion, is also averaging more than 3,000 PSF. One thing to take note is that this area, all these properties, they are 99-year leasehold properties. Next slide, we take a look at what are the upcoming VUCs in the market. We can see that Union Square is over here in the first row. The next few, Marina View Residences, Newport Residences, Marina Gardens Lane, and Skywater Residences, they're all located in the central CBD area, right? If you look at the picture here at the bottom right. Then we have other two interesting locations, Oriole, Golden Mile. This is probably people who want to invest into the Kallang growth story, something that our new Prime Minister Lawrence Wong touched upon during the NDP rally as well. The other one is the collection at One Sophia, which is Dhoby Ghaut. That is the redevelopment of Pearls Center. However, I do think that among these three properties that's outside of the CBD area, USR is the one with most unique standout features, right? Being by the Singapore River and closely located to Orchard and the CBD. With that in mind, let me share with you that although the 60% ABSD did slow the market temporarily, if we look carefully in the second half of last year, in fact, the total sales volume was 774.7 million with 72 transactions. But we do see a bounce back already in the first half of this year, with sales volume totaling more than 700 million and number of transactions almost hitting 100. So it's a luxury market as dead as it seems. Even if you look at landed residential, we also see an uptick in the number of transactions as well as the total sales volume. And same goes for the GCB segment. It seems that data tells the better story that our market in the luxury segment is in fact better than it was last year. Zooming out even further to compare the different regions of Singapore, here is the CCR in light blue, in dark blue is the RCR region, and the OCR region in orange. Over the last couple of years, we have seen the OCR still gradually having an uptrend, while RCR is more or less side trending, and CCR, you can see, is a slight downtrend in the light blue line. Perhaps it is a good time to relook investments in the CCR region. Although right now the ABSD rate stands at 60%, we know that end of the day, Singapore is reliant on foreign influx of money, and there is a possibility that once the market stabilizes further, this 60% ABSD on foreigners would be reduced. Then if you are owner of a property in CCR, for example USR, you can potentially stand to reap greater profits at that time. With that said, that's it for my presentation today. So if you'd like to find out more information, I have a link in the YouTube description below. You can drop me a message directly and I'll send you two important information. On the left is the summarized info kit on Union Square Residences with the latest up-to-date info. And I also have a data book done up by our research team here at Orange Tea that shares in more detail about the investment potential of the central area. If you're an investor looking for a new launch in the market, I think this is one of the dark horses that you may want to consider. My name is Jim Tay. Leave a like, let me know in the comments any questions that you have, and I'll see you in my next video.